Quantum computing stocks are gaining investor attention as investors are hoping that this could be the next category that experiences a big boom following artificial intelligence, which is experiencing the boom right now. And of course, as you might already know, my channel members get the right to vote on what videos I create in the week ahead. The top 10 vote getters I create a video about, and Rigetti was one of the winners of my members only poll last week. So that's why I'm making this video here as a response to its win in the top 10 category. So I'm going to review the latest developments at Rigetti, what's been going on in the last month, and what do I think about the business, the prospects among the overall market economy.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
Right, so three primary factors are moving Rigetti stock over the previous month. First of all, Rigetti secured significant contracts, including a $5.7 million deal for Novera Quantum Systems and a $5.8 million contract from the U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory. Notably, quantum computing companies are getting most of their revenue from research laboratories, from research institutions, from universities, from government institutions that are trying to develop this technology to see what it could do. It's still in the very early stage development. It's not yet being broadly utilized in enterprises worldwide. We're still trying to find use cases for enterprise applications. Once that happens, or if that happens, that's what will unlock the big opportunity with quantum computing. That's where a lot of quantum computing stock investors are hoping this category could grow to. Now, there was some downside over the previous month regarding discussions about CEOs, insider sales, and that's always a concern. When investors see a CEO selling shares, they ask themselves this question. Nobody knows more about the company than the CEO. And if the CEO is selling, what does he know that we don't know? Or what does she know that we don't know? Why is the CEO selling? And it causes a lot of panic, causes a lot of anxiety among investors. And so investors follow suit and they sell their shares also. But I'm of a mixed opinion surrounding this category. I understand that CEOs and insiders, they have a lot at stake in the companies that they're managing. So imagine you're a CEO of a company and 90% of your wealth is tied up in the company that you're leading. So let's say your total wealth is $10 million and 9.5 million is in stock of the company that you're the CEO. And so when you're running the company, wouldn't you be a little bit more risk averse if so much of your wealth is tied into that one company and the movement in the share price in that one company? Wouldn't you be a little bit more cautious? Wouldn't you be a little bit more nervous, a little bit more apprehensive when you're running the company, when you're making decisions? Wouldn't your stress level be elevated? And of course, if your stress level is elevated, you're not operating at your best. And so if you were to sell some of your stock, let's say you take 20% and you sell and you have cash and you put that cash away, save it up for your family and yourself, you take care of all your family's financial needs, and then that way you can be more comfortable and you can make decisions from a better peace of mind, from a better place in your mind. And so there's a give and take there. I understand both sides of the equation, and it's a case by case basis. That's why I don't always say that when there's an insider sale, it's bad news. I don't always come to that conclusion. So it's a bit of a mix for me. And so the third thing here is there's been speculation about potential government equity stakes in quantum firms. The United States government right now under the current administration has been a lot more interested in blending the lines between government and business. They've taken a stake in Intel stock. They've taken a stake in some mining stocks. And so categories where the current administration feels like they are important to national security, they've been buying stakes in the companies. And of course, if the government buys a stake in the company, it's a positive for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a cash infusion into the company, cash goes in. And so, especially important for a company like Rigetti that's losing a lot of money on the bottom line while it's developing the technology, a cash infusion could be huge. And then, secondly, it's a vote of confidence. If the government is invested in the company, investors feel more confident that the government won't let the company fail. The government will be interested in the company's success. And so, it's a double benefit for investors. There's been a lot of positive sentiment surrounding this, not just with the government, but also JP Morgan Chase, one of the largest banks in the world, also said that they would be creating an investment fund allocated to critically important categories, and quantum computing was one of those categories. So overall, the net effect of those moves is a reduction in the weighted average cost of capital for these quantum computing companies, Rigetti included. And capital is an important part of their success because they're going to lose money for at least the next few years, right? Lots of money they're going to lose for at least the next few years. So access to money, access to capital at a relatively low cost is an important success indicator for this industry, and Rigetti Computing included. So those are the latest developments impacting the share price over the last 30 days. Rigetti stock is actually up nicely over the previous 30 days, while IonQ is actually down 30% in the previous 30 days. It's still up 30% for the year. Rigetti stock is up not only in the last month, but it's up over the last year, and the share price has experienced a huge increase over the past several years. What do I think about the company right now in terms of buy, hold, or sell? For me, the quantum computing industry and these pure play quantum computing stocks, Rigetti included, is a little early for me, is a little too speculative for me. I have this stock rated as a hold. I last updated that recommendation on October 13th, 2025, and I will update that recommendation today, November 7th, 2025. I think there's huge upside with Rigetti stock. I mean, this is one of those companies that could 1000x your money over the next 5 years or 10 years, but it can also lead to 99% loss of your money in 6 months' time. So it's one of those very volatile, very high risk, very high reward type investments. It should only be considered for investors with a very high risk tolerance that wouldn't mind the potential of losing 99% of their capital, but with the chance of experiencing like a 1000x return or a 100x return over the next few years, and perhaps even a shorter amount of time if there's a breakthrough announced in the near term. So that's where I stand, and that's where I feel this stock suits for the type of investor in this situation. By the way, did you know about our exciting channel membership program? You get so much for less than $5 a month, including dozens of exclusive videos, access to exclusive research on over 100 stocks, and early access to many of my videos before everyone else sees them. Click that join button below to learn what this program is all about.